you have to know that you can achieve bigger things without your own hands being the one to produce those things.
Welcome to Brand Talk with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about aliens, governmental conspiracies, and politics. We're changing the direction.
I would really love to, if I'm being 100% honest. But we probably lose like half of our
I don't think
audience.
So. I think everyone wants to talk about aliens.
I actually feel like our audience is pretty in line with what we believe too.
Well, what is your belief on extraterrestrial activity? We've actually never really talked about this in much depth.
You know how many alien documentaries we watched together? And you're saying we haven't talked about aliens? We
3.
have. That's kind of a lot. I feel like that's more than most people, like as a couple.
Okay.
You really want me to answer?
I do.
Or can we get into how to make $100,000 months?
We'll get there, but first.
Okay. I would say that, the universe is massive, so there has to be other life out there somewhere. So
I'm just going to say I think Brooks is an alien.
I don't think so. I think Elon Musk is an alien.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. He's interesting.
If that happened, no one would be like, oh my gosh, really?
Be like, I knew it.
Knew it, dude. Knew it, bro.
All right, guys, I got to tell you about an incredible event that you don't want to miss. It's happening in Palm Springs, September 13th through the 15th. This is something that is going to be the event of the year for CEOs who are wanting to build their wealth. So if that's you, I'm going to put a link in the description below for you to get your ticket. Don't miss it. Now back to the episode. Okay, so we're not going to talk about aliens today.
Take off my helicopter sunglasses.
Thank you. But we are going to talk about how to make more money inside your business. And whether you own a salon, you own a spa, you own literally any kind of business, all of the things that we're going to go into today really are applicable to your company because you own a small business, likely, if you're listening to this. So when people own small businesses, I think a lot of times they can have a very small mindset as to what their business can actually not only generate, but keep based on other people that they know around them, and what their businesses are doing and just kind of what's possible. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people kind of do like a pulse check, like around really it's kind of like a market analysis of like, okay, like
analysis.
Stop.
What?
Don't call me out on my list today.
You've been called out.
I have a sore throat and I got swabbed for everything this week and I have nothing. However, I have a viral infection for no reason, and I also have...
We got sick babies.
...a little bump on the back side of my tongue, which is impacting my speech.
It's like rubbing your tooth?
Yes, it's right on the right side. It sucks. Yeah, and then obviously we have Andrew coming in town this weekend. I'm like, great. I sound like a moron on our podcast with our guest. Yeah, so when I went to urgent care yesterday, they were like, name, and I'm like, Rachel Thomas and Memphis Thomas. There's just a lot of S's. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go sit down. So
I'm going to sit in the seat.
Sit in the seat. Yeah. But, I think when, God, this is so bad. So many S's.
It's really not.
It is. It's so bad.
You're just almost paying more attention
for work today.
To the S's. That's how it was with my teeth. I couldn't talk for like a week.
Yeah. So when people are trying to get to $100,000 months, I think it's really not that hard. And
if they're playing it wrong, it's real hard.
Yes.
But when you line things up the right way, you're like, oh, because I remember setting that goal and I was like, this bullshit. Like, yeah, right.
Well, but I want to say too, I think a lot of times when people like the idea of having $100,000 month, and a lot of people like haven't even said that out loud, don't even know it's possible.
Or written it down or looked at it or really believed it.
Yeah. Like, I try to always think about like, okay, if I rewound my life back to, 2015, when I really started like, paving the steps for the beauty lounge and, starting it anyway. And so obviously a lot bigger and different and stuff today than it was back then. But I thought, okay, I'm doing, 20 G's a month as a hairstylist. Like I thought that was like a ton. And I think it still is a ton for a hairstylist. However, for a salon, that is like not enough or not, it's not like to have a storefront and do a build out and all that. Like it's just not enough.
What is enough? Like 100?
I honestly think that minimum, like, you know, and the way I thought about it then, I was like, okay, if I'm doing 20 G's a month as a hairstylist and I can get another 1 or 2 hairstylists who can maybe be 50% as busy as me, okay, then I'm looking at, okay, 40 G's a month. This space is, you know, gonna, at the time before we expanded the first time, it was, I think, gonna run around probably 7 or 8 grand. And I was like, okay, I can swing that. Like, you know, so it was very much girl math at the time. And, you know, but like, in the thought of like being able to do that and support that overhead on my own, even though I was as a hairstylist, like killing it. And I had like $1,800 rent at the time, which was like all bills paid, crazy. You know, I think
in the
back
suite?
in a suite, in a 3-chair suite. But, you know, and we were busting I had like a team of 6 or 7 at the time in that little tiny room.
3-chair.
Yeah. Like we didn't even have laundry in that room. We had laundry like off site.
Just so they kind of understand, like, what did that look like? Like your day? Like, you were obviously doing all the services, or were they doing services too?
No,
or just assisting?
I was like passing as many people as I could to my assistants and trying to get my clients to.
Aren't you afraid they're going to leave and go rent a chair?
I was not, actually.
Why?
Why was I not afraid? I didn't put them in an environment that showed them that was like the next step either. Like I was in a studio, but I was in a private studio, and it was not inside of like a Sola or whatever the other sweet places are out there. It wasn't in anything like that. And I'm not knocking those places at all. I think that's a great option for people. And for me, you know, going from hairstylist in a commission, like in just a 1-chair rental setting, straight into like a big girl salon and with like a lease and a storefront, like that wasn't possible for me. I didn't have the funds. I didn't have the cash. I didn't have the experience, you know, of having like a little micro business in between. So I am grateful for the studio in the middle. Like that taught me a lot. But it also, like, you will like, for me, any step I took, like whether it's like, okay, I have a chair, okay, now I have 2 chairs, now I have 3 chairs, now I'm in a room, now I'm in a bigger room. It was like within 6 months, I was already at capacity in whatever the space was. So, you know, it was good, but at the time it felt like, okay, I'm changing things a lot. Like I feel like every couple of appointments, I'm telling my client like that, oh, we're expanding or we're doing this, which is exciting for clients, you know. And I think a lot of people are scared by that because they think that their clients are going to leave them. And it's all about the delivery of the change. That's important too. Like
growth is change.
Yes, for sure. Otherwise you're staying the same or really declining.
Change, don't grow.
Yeah. But I never put like my team that I had at the time, I didn't put them in an environment where like I showed them like, oh, hey, now you can go do this. Like you can go be booth rent. There was just like, it wasn't part of their environment. Like we were a team salon, we were a commissioned salon, and it was very much team oriented. And, you know, I knew very early on, I can't do all the hairs for everyone, you know, and I never wanted a business that was just about me either. I wanted to always have like other people alongside of me. I didn't ever want to do it by myself.
Yeah, because you only have 2 hands. You can only do so much.
Well, yeah, and I mean back then I was like wearing my baby to work. Like I would literally do hair while Evan was in a carrier, like literally on my chest.
Still wear your baby to work.
I wear my baby to work all the time. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And, you know, it was clear to me that like, okay, I can handle a lot, but I also can, you know, like it's not like my availability is not going to be what caps a business, you know? And so that's what, like, I'm glad I saw that early on. And, you know, like my mom, for example, my mom's a medical esthetician. She's super incredible at what she does, you know, but she is pretty much, it's like a 1-woman show at the spa that she works at, you know, and she is literally in high demand. She's always booked out. She's had clients that have been with her for 25, 30 years. I mean, she's super good at what she does. And, you know, but because of the nature of what she does, she has to have a doctor, you know, over her to be able to do it. She can't do injections or lasers or any of that stuff, you know, without that person there. So she's hasn't been able to in sense go out on her own. And I've seen that, like, you know, she is limited in the sense of like how much she can earn or do because it's based off of how many people she herself can see. And, you know, she has tried to take people under her wing before and be able to pass clients to them. But in the position that she's in, that doesn't benefit her other than allow her more time because she doesn't own the company. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me, I saw that as an example of how it could be, you know, like if I was working for someone and I was maxed out on my time, that I could pass my clients to somebody else, but there is no finder's fee or income for me that way, right? And I'm still going to make the same. And I never wanted to do it that way. You know, I've always been entrepreneurial, and I've always wanted, I enjoy the process of like training people and watching them grow. And so for me, like inside that by myself, again, I was doing about 20 G's by myself, but in my little studio, we were doing about 40 G's inside of there. And it would take 2 or 3 girls, right, to make the same amount that I could make by myself. But that's normal. Like that is very typical. And I think that I see a lot of people that expand too soon. And I see a lot of people who also feel limited by the size of their space or the number of chairs that they have, you know, and it's really about how you use it, you know, and how you're really like using the space. So, but $100,000 months are honestly not that difficult, especially when that's like the only thing that you're focused on as a business owner.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the different paths too. It's if you're doing everything on your own, I've talked to, if y'all are tuning in or just following us, I mean, we work directly with salon owners. We help make it more profitable. So over the last several years, I've talked to over 4,000 salon owners. Like that's a lot. It's a lot of conversations.
I feel like you've talked to more than that, but yeah,
with salon owners, a lot. You know, like undescribable how many conversations I've had. So I've gotten to get a really good understanding as to like what doesn't work.
I feel bad for you. It's honestly, because hairstylists, I love my fellow hairstylists, and a lot. I remember when I was a hot mess hairstylist, and just how freaking. I mean, it's
like
wild. We're all the same.
What
all the same.
What doesn't work, and because you have a couple paths. So Rachel was talking about training. She loved training people. You have to want to train people. Like they got to like get into the, like I'm showing up to work for my team. I'm going to go serve my team. You know, I'm going to go help develop their career paths, help facilitate certain things that they need so they can get to where they want to go, rather than I'm going to go and do all the hairs because I'm the baddest bee in the game, you know, and everyone's going to come to me, and I'm not going to hand off anyone because they're not as good as me, and it's me. You know, so it's like
a lot of times the clients don't trust the person they're trying to hand them off to, and it's because the stylist doesn't trust that person. Yeah,
or it's like in the middle. It's like so they know that they're the best, and you will be the best. It's you. It's your business. Like no one's gonna come in and outperform you in your business with you there controlling everything. It just won't happen. And they got to compete with like that person. They're not gonna want like if you come in, you're getting all the best clients because you will. And you're not developing these teams, you're going to have your head down, you're going to be working. And then now they got to compete with you. And now it's going to be discouraging because they're not going to be able to hit the numbers that you hit. They're not going to be able to operate the same way that you operate. So your team will suffer.
Well, and the team starts to resent you as the owner too, because they are competing with you because you have set your business up that way. And especially when it comes to hair extensions, I've seen this a lot where the owner takes all the new installs and then she passes all the maintenance to the other girls or doesn't allow them to do the service at all. And they can only assist her.
Very hard to hit 100K doing it that way.
Yeah. You are the bottleneck in that instance, you know, and I've seen it over and over and over again. There are salons in our area that do that exact same thing. And that owner is behind the chair literally until the end of time because she has like built her whole business doing it that way, and she's resistant to changing and doing it a different way.
I've talked to ladies in their 60s still behind the chair.
I mean, cool if she wants to be, but I don't.
She doesn't.
I would imagine she probably has some grandbabies that she'd love to hang out with and not be working Saturdays behind the chair.
Yeah.
So to get to 100K months, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, you guys, is circling back to mindset. So not in like a woo-woo crystal rubbing way, but in a like you have to know that you can achieve bigger things without you being the one, like your own hands being the one to produce those things.
Let me break down like what that actually looks like. So going off the top of my head here, see if I can remember this. So your belief is going to dictate what you think, and what you think is going to dictate what you feel, and what you feel is going to dictate what you do, and what you do is going to produce what results you get, and the results you produce are going to create the life that you want. So the income level, the happy clients, the big team. So it all starts with, as cheesy as it sounds, like you have to believe you're going to do the thing because it's going to dictate your thoughts, which basically your beliefs dictate your thoughts, and that's going to facilitate what you do, and what you do is going to facilitate your actions are going to facilitate your results and what you do for people, and then the value you create. The more value you create, the more money you make.
Amen. So the thing that I see a lot of people that get stuck is they get stuck with that very first part about the belief system, right? The belief system of that they can do something bigger than they're already doing. And maybe they do look around and they notice that
a lot of yeah buts and
so many excuses.
There's this and there's that and there's this and there's that.
Yes. So there is a quote that I love, and it says, you can have results or excuses. You cannot have both. And I love that because I think that it really summarizes very simply a contrast of like this or that. Like you pick. You want results, you want excuses. You can't have both. And that sentence goes perfectly inside the salon setting with the team. It goes perfectly in the setting, even just you with yourself, like of things that you want to do or achieve. There was a video the other day that I actually shared in my stories. It was a real estate investor, Pace Morby, who we obviously follow and think he's a great guy. We follow him. And so he posted this video talking about basically the follow-up process with his team and all of these leads and the things that they're working through on the real estate side. And they do a lot of like creative financing and things like that, sub to properties and so forth. But it really, I always love to look outside the industry for inspo, because then I can like through an analogy be able to make sense of it and like apply it here. And so what I shared is like the follow-up process. And like I hear this and see this all the time, where salon owners, they try something one time, or stylists try something one time, and then what do they conclude? It didn't work. Didn't work. I tried, it didn't work. Look, you're going to have to try that thing a couple of times to actually know if it is not working. Okay? Because nothing really works the first time.
It's a law of business is the law of averages.
Yes. And so like, you have to give something a fair chance in order to be able to conclude like it did not work. Like fact, it did not work. But instead, what people will do is and I call that an attempt. They attempt something. They didn't actually try. They attempted. And then they basically just were like, moving on.
The data pool isn't big enough to collect an accurate amount of information from to be able to make a conclusion that it does or doesn't work.
Yes. And so what I shared on my story was like, when's the last time that you have checked in with yourself and followed up with yourself? Because what Pace shared in his video was that when they first called this agent, basically on behalf of this person wasn't even selling their house. They were just calling people. And I believe they sent some letters and they didn't get any responses. And then they found a phone number and they call and they're like, hey, like, are you interested in selling your property? And you're like, no. And then the second call was a no. And they've sent multiple letters at this time. And then the following third, fourth, fifth call, it then turns into a not right now. And then, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters and calls in, then they end up saying, okay, we have like, we can talk a deal. So notice either he beat them down to the point where they're willing to sell, but what he really did was he followed up, right? Relentlessly followed up, and then he was able to get the result that he wanted. But I'm sure there's a lot of times he follows up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and he doesn't get the result that he wants. But guess what? He can confidently say we followed up. And whether it be in the salon, an owner putting out a change to her team, or it's a CSM in the salon who is sending out messages, to try to get clients back in, or a stylist reaching out to a few people who haven't been in 120 days or so, like following up. And there's also one of the things that we talk about a lot is like the fortunes and the follow-up, like following up on things that you say you're going to do, or people that you know, are checking in on. And eventually through a lot of nurturing, you will likely get the result that you want. And so for a salon to get to 100K, or any business to get to 100K that needs a client base to do so, recurring clients coming in, otherwise you're just constantly a fisherman fishing for new clients, is going to be the follow-up process. And that is what's going to separate a salon doing 25, 30, 40, 50K a month and the salon doing 100K a month, is their ability not only to retain, but to follow up. All right, guys, real quick. If you're a salon owner who's tired of grinding behind the chair with nothing to show for it but a sore back and an inconsistent bank account, you need to BYOB, build your own brand. This is our signature program helping salon owners all across the country launch their own private label hair extension line under your name with your profit margins and your rules.
It's not just about services. It's about creating an actual brand that can sell while you sleep. Our students are launching their own Shopify stores, wholesaling to local stylists, and finally stepping into the CEO seat without having to reinvent the wheel.
We're literally handing you the playbook: branding, fulfillment, marketing, legal, all of it. If you've got the hustle, we've got the system.
Click the link in the description below to book a discovery call with our team. Let's build a business that works for you and not the other way around.
BYOB, because doing hair should be because you want to, not because you have to.
Yeah, and if you're just chasing new clients all the time, that is brutal. It's really hard to do because you're losing if your churn is too high, and you'll know if your churn is too high just because you feel like you're working really hard and you're not moving anywhere. Like, you got a churn issue.
Yeah, you're just spinning your wheels, and data shows you what is working and what is not, but also data shows you also like the leaks that you have in your business. And so, you know, you guys have probably heard Drew talk about the cost to acquire a client, the cost to fulfill a client, and things like that relating to sales and fulfillment. It's the same kind of thing relating to your ads or relating to inside the salon business. You are going to constantly be acquiring a client through your time, through ads, marketing, you know, whatever, usually your time. And so if you own a business, you're likely trying to get your time back. You're trying to be the most effective with your time if you are serious about building a business. And so why would you set up yourself to do the same task, the same thing every single like month over month? You're just like living the same life and you're never getting ahead. It's because, you know, yes, you're focusing on like I feel like you, like a lot of salon owners are focused on the end goal, which is like, I want this, but like they don't think about like the systematic approach that needs to happen like right now to get them to that point. And so, I have a former client that's actually in my DMs. She's awesome. And so she was like talking to me and she's like, okay, like we're trying to grow the business. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you like, tell me about your client outreach process. And she's like kind of talking about it. And she's like talking about like how she's, you know, got somebody that wants to do SEO for her and wants to optimize their website and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of like, tell me about your client outreach process. And you're like, are you guys actively reaching out to clients and offering to get them back in, you know? And the answer was no, we're not. Or sometimes we are. Or my manager calls, you know, new people, but we don't check on existing people. So there's all these like little leaks inside of the business that I notice. And you know, our businesses are not perfect. Our team drops the ball at times. Like it happens. You have human error that can occur if you employ humans. And even technology can break at certain points. But you've got to have ongoing routine things that you guys are doing to get yourself to those 100K months, because it should not take more than a few months to get it to that point with the correct processes and the rhythm of just the outbound stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah, so I would go through outbound. How many people are you reaching out to per day, per week, inviting them into the location, and look at your rebooking percentage. Where is that at? Should we really want it to be, I mean, over 80%, 70% maybe, right?
Well, so
as an average of the business.
Yes, because so what you're talking about is a rebooking percentage, like at the appointment, right? Mm-hmm. Is really the easiest place for that to happen, because that's where the breakdown happens. Is you've got, and most times the stylist that's super slammed, she is like her rebooking percentage actually is the worst because of the fact that she's in the moment anyway. She's too busy to have the conversation to rebook. And so the client is walking out the door and she's usually saying something like, I'll text you or text me when you come in or book online. And then you're leaving it in the hands of this other person.
Loose ends everywhere.
It's loosey-goosey. It doesn't work. And so then you've got, and then also usually the top stylist, she's too busy to talk about retail. She's too busy to sell retail. So there's all these things like, yes, she's the highest producer in services, but her retail sales suck. And usually her immediate rebooking is not there unless she's got a front desk person or somebody who's really, really good, who's initiating that with the client. I
think people confuse being super busy with achievement.
Yeah, that's very common in our industry, especially.
It's not the same because you can be just because there's if you're in a train that's going from Texas to New York, it's gonna get there when it gets there. If you're just running up and down the train the whole time, it doesn't mean you're gonna get there any quicker.
When I think back to like when I was in my studio and I had 3 chairs and I was doing my thing and I had my first batch of employees that I was kind of learning and figuring out how to be an owner of a business besides being a hairstylist, I was doing that. I was working really, really, really hard and I was still kind of like making the same amount of money. And that's really why I got into hair extensions because I'm like, okay, I physically can't work more hours than I'm working. I'd actually like to work less. I miss my kids. I miss my, family. And I need to figure out something different because when you take a second to breathe, and a lot of times for me, it's like if I'm on a plane or I'm out of town, that's really the best time for me to breathe because I can actually see clearly. I can see more clearly as to what's going on. And so I realized, okay, I have to build a business bigger than me because I've been doing this for 4 or 5 months at that point, having employees helping me and all these things. And I'm like, I'm not making anything. I'm not keeping any more than I was keeping working by myself, and so that's really when I got serious about that. But it was the same thing. I was busier than ever. And I felt like, and of course you're getting all this feedback from everyone around you too. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so busy. It's like this badge of honor, but there was not more money left in the bank at the time for how busy I was. And so I had to get more serious about building a business bigger than myself, which is where the team came in, which is where obviously expanding into the storefront, the retail space came in. And then, having to, when you yourself as the lead stylist, it's like you do things a certain way and you just kind of expect that other people are going to do it that way too. It's so wrong. I used to think that too. It's like, well, this is common sense. No, it's not. You have to make something common knowledge. And, not everybody has the same common sense. You have to make it common knowledge that this is the way we do it. And even though you do that, and we still struggle with this with our team, we love our team, but this is just that constant refinement and just trying to remind them of what they already know. And there's a really great book called The Motive that we read as our whole management team read, talking about the different, the chief reminding officer is really what a manager is. You're reminding people of things all the time. Rebooking, getting clients back in, talking about retail, all of those things. Because if everybody can do those things at the same time, that's when that business can double in revenue, not before. So, what would you say to a salon owner who feels stuck? Who feels like, I'm imagining myself as in my 2015 self, the girl that's in high demand. She's got a couple assistants, it feels like she's almost like how we used to have the Jeep, we're flooring it on the highway and it's shaking. It feels like it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. There's no way this can go any faster.
Yes. So what would you say to her of what to do first?
First, I would get clear on what you want to do, specifically. What do you want to do? What does your day look like? Not to get hokey pokey with it, but you hear about the perfect day and all this. But just what do you want to do? Do you want to do hair a few times a week? Do they want to do, do they want to expand the salon itself, and what that means, that means more people, more money, more clients,
everything.
more problems, right? And that comes with more. Like, you don't just make more money. You know, the more money you make, you're going to have more challenges with it. You're going to have more refunds, chargebacks, happy clients, good testimonials, bad testimonials. You're going to have more. More is more, right? So I would get clear on what she wants to do and reapproach, like pause, step back, and reapproach the business playing this new game with the new set of rules. Like, we're developing, and you're going to see where you need to focus. And one of the places that we're focusing on right now, I did a couple group interviews and loved it. Like, it was great. So I'm reformulating a lot of funnels for like hiring processes to start to get in front of about 10, 15 people at the same time. And those people I'll move on to the second phase, so we don't have to go through, you know, a bunch of people, and it's a more refined system. So I wanted to hire great people quicker, and that's where this kind of thing started to unravel and unroll. But if you got to get clear, they got to get clear on what path they want to take. Do they want to be the high demand stylist, or do they want to build a business that makes more money? You know, because they're different. Because a lot of people will try to do things, but, you know, like, well, I'll talk to someone and their goal is to get cheaper hair, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, pause. Is your goal to make more profit, or is your goal to get more cheap hair? Because that's different. You know, you might get a little more profit, but I mean, when you really break down the margins, like there's
With
better ways to
returns
make
and stuff. I would bet they're less profitable.
probably
with cheap hair.
yeah, because it's harder to make money selling cheaper things. You know,
Yeah, sell
just-
more of them
and yeah, which means more problems
and more problems
with less money.
Yeah.
So I got to get clear on like, what do they want to do?
Yeah.
You know? So that I would start there. Like, what is it that they want to do? So you can really start to solve the problems and challenges and grow in that direction, and be like super clear about where you're taking this and where you're taking your business and your team.
And one thing I want to add to that too, because I know that there are a lot of listeners that have set their business up one way, or have like they've already kind of like they feel like they're neck deep in something already, and like the thought of changing something, or like letting people go, or revising their business, their compensation structure, their pricing, whatever it might be, the thought of that seems excruciating. And I've been in that boat like a lot over the first few years of business ownership. Like, no one intentionally set something up wrong. Like, people set things up. All they're trying to do is create something better than where they came from, and the intention's pure, and their heart is in it and behind it and everything. However, if that's just the only goal, is like, okay, well, this is what I was getting paid over here, and then now I'm going to set this up over here because I believe hairstylists deserve more. But yet you have different overhead, like higher costs. You have, now you have owner salary. Like, you have all these things, and you had no visibility into the previous place you were working as to how they set it up. It's like
or they're like net profit,
like literally nothing.
No.
Yeah. And so like, then you realize, okay, 6 months or even 2 months down the road, you're like, shit, okay, well, I promised them this, and yet that gets me this, and I can't change it because they'll leave, or because what? Like, you'll insert the reason, right? The reason there. I want people to know that they can make changes in their business, and you can't make everybody happy all the time. You literally can't. Like, and you should try to, make decisions that are good, and, that are, that please, and cause the least amount of friction. However, like, if you're the one eating it month over month over month over month, you have to finally like decide, okay, something has to change. And we found ourselves, you and me and our businesses, and just even like friendships and stuff, like you just have to, unfortunately, pull the plug on certain things sometimes because it's just not working.
Yeah,
it's just too challenging. Like, it's not worth the chatter, the time, the energy, whatever it might be.
Yeah, the right thing to do to get you to where you want to be is going to be the hard thing.
The hard path, yeah.
Usually.
But I want, when people are deciding, let's say they're listening to this episode, they're like, okay, like, I need to sit down and need to figure out, what do I want? When they're doing that, I want them to know that they can make that decision for them and not have all these like things kind of come into focus where it's like, well, this would do like this would, then that means so-and-so would probably leave, or that means this person's gonna be upset or whatever. Like let that shit go and just decide on what do you want, and then just pave a new path forward. And it's gonna be the harder path, like you said, but I can definitely, I think we can both from experience attest that like once you get through that, and it's usually not like that painful, and it's not as long and painful as you think.
Yeah, it's worse than you think it's going to be worse than it ends up being.
Yeah. But when that relief, like that, like you can literally feel like an elephant literally like lift off your chest.
Yeah. You'll immediately gain some momentum there. We have a guest in the studio today who's
oh my gosh, I was thinking it was a lizard. I forgot that Brooks had his dog. I was thinking it was another like a lizard.
You thought that was a lizard?
No, I didn't even look at the dog. I just where your eyes went, I thought it was a lizard on the carpet.
Okay. That's a golden retriever.
I don't like bugs, or if it has fur, I like it. Unless it's a cat, I don't like cats.
What's her name?
Brandy.
Brandy's sweet. She's just chilling.
Mm.
So that's
is that
cool.
A whistle around her neck? What is that?
Yeah,
What's that little pink thing?
She uses a whistle.
Well, I was like, why would she have a whistle?
Call the humans.
It looks like a whistle.
I think it's the hook for her like tag that's on there right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you guys are going out there and you're looking to grow, figure out that goes back to what we were talking about before, not the aliens part, but we were talking about belief. I guess it's kind of still like aliens, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
You got to believe. What is your belief in your business? Because that's going to control like what you think, and what you think is what your actions are derived from. So think differently if you're looking to facilitate a different result for your business. And this is why most people don't have $100,000 a month businesses, because what we're talking about, it's simple, but it's not easy.
And guys, once you get to 100, like once you like hit that milestone, you're going to be like, okay, what's next? Well, I can do 150. I can do 200. I can do 250. Like I would say that's like the biggest like hurdle of getting from 20 G's to 100 G or whatever.
Because you've
built
the machine.
Yeah. And then you're just scaling it.
And scaling, but when you scale, you got to have all the T's crossed, I's dotted. Things are going to break. You got to maintain the machine, and then you push it and you throttle it up, and you'll grow. You're going to make more money. You have more problems. You have more challenges.
Yep.
You got to solve them.
Yeah.
And then you throttle up. But throttling up is still even scary when you have everything good. And when I say good, y'all, it ain't going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
It's not pretty.
I was really, I didn't push what we're doing in BYOB for a while because we were getting the numbers and I wanted to get the numbers perfect. I wanted to get my LTVs and my CACs were good, and they were good. They really just need to be good enough. And if you have a good process in your sales and in your marketing, we'll be able to feed the sales. And we did, but it became a little bit about how to be a little more courageous to push this thing. And what I mean by push this thing is like hire more people, spend more money, do more stuff.
Yeah.
And it was scary, even though we had built the mechanism that did over 6 figures a month. We wanted to do more than that, but it was, here we are again. Like, do the thing that's hard if you want to go.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's uncomfortable to say like, oh, double our ad spend. It's like, oh shit. Okay. All right, everybody, buckle up, because what does that mean? It means that you've got like, because we have all of our numbers dialed and stuff, that means we have X amount of like double the calls on the calendar and double the no's, double the yeses,
double the no-shows, double the reschedules.
Yeah. Double
the crazy
ops.
people.
I mean, it's, yeah, there's
double the fulfillment, double the shipping, like everything.
Yeah.
Double. So you gotta be
you gotta be ready for it. And you have to, and when you're ready, you have to make sure that you have a support system around you that's also ready, and that everybody is clear on like, okay, like you look to your left, you look to your right, and you're like, all right, let's go, and it's not going to be just you by yourself. And the same thing goes with the hairstylist who's trying to do it all herself.
Well, think about what we're talking about here. If you're the one doing all the things behind the chair, what we're talking about doesn't even apply.
Yes.
You just
correct.
It's a different game.
Yeah, but that person that she looks to her left and her right, that might be her assistant, right? Mm-hmm. And then your goal is like, okay, we are going to grow. The keyword is we are going to grow. And this is what that looks like. It looks like you getting out of your comfort zone and taking these clients that I'm going to be giving you. It looks like you doing mannequin work in between clients. It also looks like the salon owner coming in early to train her, right? And having one-on-ones with her and like all of these different things. Like it looks different. That's the summary of this whole conversation is it's going to look different than what you're currently doing to get you to that point.
Yeah.
Don't think you can do the same.
Mm-hmm. Has that Bloom drink been in their clip shot the whole time?
Yes.
Like you're endorsed by Bloom? Yeah, it's just propped up just right.
I'm not opposed.
Hashtag Bloom holla. Free sponsorship.
The owner of Bloom, I actually think I started following her recently, and I think it's awesome that she's actually pregnant, which I think is great, and doing her thing. And then she's expanding and scaling, and she's got, I think, some like kind of like oh my gosh, like poppy, but like sparkling probiotic waters and stuff now.
We should reach out to her and see if she wants to come on the podcast.
That'd be cool.
What's her name?
I know her Instagram name. Oh my gosh, stop.
My goodness. How embarrassing.
It's 2025. Okay, everybody knows.
Should know her name. It's
know our Instagram names. My name's Rachel Page XO. Duh. And you're M. Drew Thomas.
We'll reach out to her. And we'll invite her on to the show. We actually have our first guest coming.
Yes.
I'm excited. Andrew Cordell is going to be on our show. So we're announcing it before. He owns the largest business event in the
whole
world.
Yeah.
So
him and Eddie,
they're doing it.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
I'm excited to show him our chicken coop.
I am too.
I feel like he's going to love it. He lives on the farm now.
He does. His farm.
Yep.
He's going to like what we got going on here. So really, dude's who knows how long that episode's going to go. I'm just going to let it go.
I'm excited.
We're just going to go where it goes. We don't even have a plan.
No, and that's perfect.
We're going to pick him up
that's how
in
it goes.
the shuttle limo, which I thought he was local, but turns out.
Yeah, Drew's like, we'll just go pick him up.
We'll just scoop you up, man.
He's like, yeah, we'll just scoop you up.
And then
like
him and the team are like, great.
Drew's like, well, I knew they were in San Antonio the entire time. Drew's like, yeah, like it was actually your idea. And because Drew, like we had this text thread happening and like Drew's, obviously like on sales calls and stuff. And so I'm kind of like in the thread and so he's just kind of catches the last couple messages. And then we were hanging outside this morning with the baby drinking coffee and he's like, wait, what? San Antonio? I was like, yeah, we're driving to San Antonio. I'm going to get us a room at the JW probably the night before. And then that way we don't have to drive there,
I thought it was
them
gonna
up,
go like
come
20
back
minutes.
and film.
I thought it was going to like 20 minutes to the airport.
No, 3 hours and 33 minutes to be exact.
Which will be
from our house.
7 hours.
Yeah.
So
guess who's driving?
That shuttle's comfy though. Those seats are real comfy.
Yeah.
The front one, the back ones are not.
I haven't sat back
comfy.
there. I don't know.
The lounge one you're in is. The other ones are pretty.
No, that's my chair.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is my chair. It is. I'll give up my chair this weekend though if they want it. But yeah, we're excited to have our first guest on and yeah, we're gonna start, if you guys want to let us know who else you'd like to see on the podcast, that'd be great. But I think I'm really interested in bringing kind of non-industry related people on just to really expand everyone's point of view and knowledge into like how things can be done and that they don't have to think so literally so close to the beauty industry. They can see like other ways of doing things. So
it's important to do that.
Totally.
For perspective.
Mm-hmm. So. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.
And now we're going to jump into my episode where we talk about aliens.
Stop.
Bye, y'all.